So welcome everyone to today's third part of this three-part webinar hosted by Prevention Plus Wellness, again located here in beautiful St. Augustine, Florida, where as I look out my window, it is another gorgeous warm day, and I hope it's nice where you're all at. Thank you for joining us. I know you're all busy and you've got lots to do, so I very much appreciate you spending time with us. This is 1 hour. Like the other two sessions, we will be spending time on the slides and then open it up for Q&A. So if you have questions, comments, whatever you want to say, it's your format, it's your time. So use the opportunity to share your expertise and your thoughts. So this is, again, integrating substance use prevention with wellness, what I call holistic prevention. This is the final part of this three-part webinar series. My name is Dr. Chudley Wirch, and I'm CEO and founder at Prevention Plus Wellness. And so just to recap very briefly what we've covered thus far to date in parts 1 and 2, we've talked about wellness models, how wellness is associated with and essential to substance use and other types of prevention. The incidence of not just substance use, but other health risk factors that youth across the country are experiencing: physical inactivity, poor nutrition, not eating breakfast, very few fruits and vegetable consumption, not getting 8 hours of sleep, uncontrolled stress. All of those risk factors, in addition to substance use, have a significant impact on youth mental and physical health and development. Then we also discussed how these wellness behaviors, particularly physical activity, sports, nutrition, and sleep, are associated with substance use, mental health indicators, and physical health indicators. We reviewed yesterday research sort of filling in the gaps and identifying those associations between wellness, lifestyle behaviors, particularly the big three: nutrition, physical activity, and sleep, but also relaxation or meditation. If you're hearing our dogs in the background, please ignore that. I have no control over that at this time. So we looked at research of the big three in relation to, again, indicators of substance use, mental health, and physical health. So I think that brought us up to today. And so today, what we're going to be covering, again, the purpose for the whole of all three portions of this webinar series is for you to gain an understanding of the essential role wellness plays in substance use prevention to promote the whole health, mental health, physical health, social, etc., of young people or whoever we work with in our prevention and health practices. The two objectives for today's webinar are: number one, which is actually number 6 here, review evidence-based programs that integrate substance use prevention with wellness promotion for youth and young adults. So we're going to take a look at some actual evidence-based programs that exist that you can use right now to expand your substance use prevention practice to include wellness, to have a broader, more holistic approach. Secondly, if you don't want to do that, or in addition to, I'm going to show you a 6-step evidence-based model that we've created so that you yourselves can create your own programs, brief or otherwise, campaigns, communications for youth, young adults, adults, that holistically integrates prevention messages with wellness promotion messages. So that's what we'll be covering today. Let's start out with the two strategies. As I see it, there's two strategies for integrating prevention and wellness. If you're serious about, excuse me, if you're serious about really promoting positive youth development and going beyond just preventing risks, and particularly substance use among youth, then you really have two strategies. The first is what I call the piecemeal approach. That's where you could implement individual programs, campaigns, communication, et cetera, to prevent substance use, and then also to promote protective wellness behaviors, single behaviors one at a time, physical activity and sports, nutrition like breakfast and fruit and vegetable consumption, sleep. And this approach, this piecemeal approach of adding substance use prevention and to it, adding the promotion of these healthy behaviors is costly. It's costly in time, in terms of time, in terms of dollars, and it's really more of a status quo approach. It's least holistic because we're all limited in terms of what our time is, how much financial resources we have. So this piecemeal approach, even though some of us try this, some of us try to include, in addition to risk messaging, prevention messaging, we try to add opportunities for a youth, for example, to get physical activity. This piecemeal approach, again, is not very holistic, not very integrative, and is more of a status quo kind of approach. What's the other strategy other than the piecemeal approach? It's the integrated prevention plus wellness strategy. This is where you either A, use existing evidence-based programs that integrate multiple health behaviors, that is substance use prevention, along with promoting the big three health behaviors and maybe some others. Or B, you use an evidence-based model, which we'll also be showing today, where you plan your own integrated messages, where messengers are actually integrating substance use avoidance and healthy behavior promotion. This is the most cost-effective strategy, this integrated approach. It's the most integrated because your messages are literally linked with each other, and it's the most holistic because you can have address multiple risk factors, all within a single prevention program or campaign. So I suppose the third approach in reality is just continue to do what you do and use prevention programs and not worry about wellness, but that's really not a very positive approach that we're going to address today. So this is the best approach, the integrated prevention plus wellness approach. So let's talk about integrating multiple health risk behaviors within single programs. Just sort of to recap what we've talked about thus far, there was a document, NIH document, National Institutes of Health document, that showed, research I believe it was, showed that multiple risk behaviors have significant adverse health and social outcomes for individuals later on in young adulthood. So adolescent health risks end up being a problem for mental and physical and other indicators of health as individuals go into young adulthood. Secondly, there's research showing that healthy lifestyle behaviors, eating well, sleep, physical activity, are associated with positive youth development, the kind of development that we want for our youth to be healthy, happy, successful. So these are sort of two sides of the coin. You see that multiple risk behaviors are associated from youth into problems with overall health in young adulthood, and healthy behaviors in youth result in positive youth development. What does that mean for us? It means we need to address multiple health risks. That's what we've been talking about through all of these webinars thus far. It's critical to reducing mental and physical health problems, and it's critical to promoting positive youth development. So integrating multiple risk behaviors within single prevention interventions, most cost-effective, most integrative, most holistic. So that's a little bit of an overview. So that raises the question, what's the evidence in terms of multiple risk behavior programs that address substance use and healthy behavior promotion? Well, there were two reviews, both published in 2018, that showed, the first one showed that both one-time multi-health consultations as well as group sessions, decreased adolescent substance use. So these multi-health behavior programs have been shown to be effective in reducing adolescent substance use. The other review of research, and again, these are two reviews of interventions, evaluations of interventions, showed that universal school-based interventions that address multiple risk behaviors were effective in preventing tobacco and alcohol and illicit drugs, as well as antisocial behavior and improving physical activity. So we've got two reviews out there showing multi-health risk behaviors or multi-risk behaviors to be effective for impacting substance use and other health habits of young people. Now let's take a look at evidence-based substance use prevention programs targeting health. And so what I did here is I went to the Blueprints for Healthy Youth Development Registry of Evidence-Based Programs and Practices. So it's called Blueprints for Healthy Youth Development. If you haven't checked it out, please do. It's a great registry of evidence-based programs, very high standards. So you're not going to see lots and lots of programs listed, but the ones you will see are very high quality. And so what I did here was I searched on Blueprints for Healthy Youth Development, that registry of evidence-based programs. I searched, first of all, using the search terms alcohol, tobacco, marijuana/cannabis, illicit drugs, and physical health and well-being outcomes. These are all options you could choose when you could search on this searchable database of Blueprints for Healthy Youth Development. Only two programs came up, two evidence-based programs. One is the SPORT, Prevention Plus Wellness Program for Youth. That's a program that we offer at Prevention Plus Wellness. And the second is called ATLAS. It's an athletes training and learning to avoid steroids. So two programs came up that linked substance use prevention and physical and well-being promotion. So I expanded the search, did a secondary search on the same database, and this time I went a little bit broader and used actual search terms: poor diet and exercise, risk and protective factors. That was another option within their search engine. 5 programs came up this time. Again, the SPORT, Prevention Plus Wellness Program for Youth, came up. That's one of our programs at Prevention Plus Wellness. Another one of our programs came up, In Shape, Prevention Plus Wellness for Young Adults. A third program came up, Positive Action. And then 3 more programs came up, Bright Bodies, Weight Management, Planet Health, Bounce Back, Newham. But those last 3 programs did not include substance use prevention. So they weren't holistic, they weren't addressing substance use and health promotion, they were just health promotion. So we did not include them. So we've got a total of, I think, 4 programs that came out of this search on Blueprints for Healthy Youth Development. So let's take a look at what each of these 4 holistic programs address. Let's start with SPORT, PPW, Prevention Plus Wellness. Again, that's one of our programs, single session program. It integrates substance use prevention with the promotion of physical activity, breakfast and nutrition, sleep, and even stress control to a certain extent. High school was one of the age groups, but we also have programs for middle school and elementary school. It's a single session evidence-based practice screening and brief intervention. Okay, so that's the SPORT, Prevention Plus Wellness Program, integrates substance use prevention with wellness promotion behaviors. Same thing with the In Shape, Prevention Plus Wellness Program. The difference is In Shape was designed for young adults, college campus, community, even the U.S. Air Force is using In Shape. Again, screening and brief intervention, single session, integrates the promotion of physical activity, nutrition, sleep, and stress control with the avoidance of substance use. So that's the In Shape Prevention Plus Wellness Program, single session program. Also, positive action showed up as an evidence-based program. This is a school-based social emotional learning program for elementary school, middle school, and it has a extensive curriculum as well as school climate lessons, etc. Lots to this K through 6 program. It's got actually 82 15 to 20-minute lessons per grade 7 and 8. That's positive action. And then lastly, Atlas, which is a unique program, athletes training and learning to avoid steroids. As you can tell by the title, it focuses on steroids, but it does integrate within that a discussion of physical activity and nutrition. So, that's largely for high school students who are in team sports where they're, working on building muscle mass, and they might be at risk for steroid use. So what can we conclude from this review for evidence-based programs that are holistic prevention, that just don't address substance use prevention, but also are effective at promoting broader wellness outcomes? 4 evidence-based programs were found. 2 of them were evidence-based practices, screening and brief intervention, that's sport and in-shape prevention plus wellness. 1 was an SEL program, school-based, that's positive action. And then that last one was Atlas, that focuses on school athletes and avoiding steroid use. So we do have some evidence-based programs as found there. And as found on the Blueprints for Healthy Youth Development. What if, and of course, using those programs would be great, picking 1 or more of those programs if you want to address holistically, wellness and prevention. But now I'm going to show you an actual prevention plus wellness holistic prevention program planning model. It's a little probably redundant and lengthy title, but nonetheless, a 6-step model that you can use to create your own integrated and holistic prevention messages. So here's the model, a version of the model, prevention plus wellness. It's integrative, it's bidirectional, and it's aimed at promoting youth wellness beyond prevention. So if you take a look at the model, the left-hand side of the screen, the blue ball SUP is substance use prevention, and what the model says is add substance use prevention to, directly below it, the green ball, healthy behavior promotion. So by adding or integrating is even a better term, fully integrating substance use prevention with healthy behavior promotion, you could follow the arrow to the right, you'll be more likely to increase wellness of youth. That's mental and physical well-being, rather than one or the other, rather than just substance use prevention or healthy behavior promotion, but both of them together, integrating within single programs, campaigns, etc., you're more likely to increase wellness. And as wellness is increased among youth, that makes it easier to and enhances substance use prevention and healthy behavior promotion. So you can see how it goes back and forth bi-directional. So that's the integrative model right there of prevention plus wellness. Now, just a word, if I might, on the role of brief interventions. Brief interventions are an ideal vehicle for presenting multiple risk behavior programs. Now, it's almost counterintuitive because you say, well, how can you address so many risk behaviors within a brief intervention? Well, we're going to show you how that's done. It's done in the evidence-based programs that we showed you, Sport and In Shape, and all of the other prevention plus wellness programs that we've created over the years and years we've been engaged in this. But so it's possible, but I'll show you the model that you can use to do this yourself, to create programs, even brief ones, even as brief as a single session like Sport and In Shape are, by using this format of brief interventions. Now, that said, you don't have to use a brief intervention framework for presenting your programs. Your programs could be multi-session, a multi-lesson. They could be, longer term media campaigns. They could be parent programs. We have all those things, by the way, at Prevention Plus Wellness, but the brief programs have some real advantages. So for example, number 2, they have a decades old history of success in both preventing and altering substance use and other healthy behaviors. Number 3, they are considered evidence-based practices by SAMHSA, by NIDA, by NIAAA, by the American Academy of Pediatrics, and so on. Now, most often you hear of brief interventions in terms of like SBIRT, screening, brief intervention, referral to treatment. So that's what we're talking about, that kind of a format. And then lastly, one of the great additional advantages of brief interventions is that they increase public health reach. So because of the brief, and many of you know this now, you can get into places to implement these programs where you wouldn't be able to with a 6-session program or a 20-session program. So busy schools, busy community organizations, et cetera, you can get in with a brief intervention and reach more youth, more young adults, more adults than you would with a more extensive or lengthy intervention. So there's some advantages of brief interventions. So we sort of highlight that. And it just so happens that Prevention Plus Wellness programs are brief interventions for the most part. They're all brief, actually. Even our lengthiest one is relatively brief. Now, lastly, let's take a look at these 6 steps for planning holistic prevention programs, the PPW model, Prevention Plus Wellness model. So here they are, 6 steps. Remember, no worries, I'll be posting these slides for you on our website. I'll be sending you a link to this recorded session. You'll be getting this information. You're welcome to share it with others. So 6 steps for integrated prevention and wellness, holistic prevention. Here it is, step number 1. Use screening to increase health behavior reflection. So we know that reflection, getting our audience to reflect, whether those are youth, children, young adults, or children, young adolescents, older adolescents, young adults, getting them to think about their personal habits is the first step in behavioral change. We want to increase their awareness of their health risks and their health strengths. So we want our clients, our audience, our youth, to start thinking about, number 3, specific steps that they could take to improve each of their health behaviors. And again, good place to start, the big 3: physical activity, breakfast and nutrition, sleep. I'd add stress control to that, and you can go from there. But we know that those behaviors are linked to protecting mental and physical health and promoting mental and physical well-being. So thinking about each of these specific behaviors and steps and how they can improve them, very important. And then lastly, number 4, how do you do this? Using screening survey, or just simply asking individuals or groups questions, getting them to reflect and think about their own current health habits. Let's talk about specific strategies that you can use for step 1 to get your audience to reflect more on their health behaviors. Number 1, you could have youth or whoever your target population is complete a brief survey of their current substance use and health habits. Notice it's holistic, it's integrative. So we don't want to just focus too much. We want to address substance use. We want to address the healthy behaviors. We want to integrate our holistic program. So you want youth to think about multiple health habits that they're engaged in. 2, you could ask youth which specific types of healthy habits they'd like to increase. Great question. Number 3, discuss with your youth what specific steps they could take to improve each of their healthy habits. What could you do to improve your nutrition, to eat more healthy foods, to eat a healthier breakfast? for example. And then number 4, ask youth which specific types of substances they like to avoid in the future. So get them engaged, get them reflecting on their health behaviors, their risk behaviors, their health promoting behaviors, and thinking in terms of awareness, of reflection and awareness of where they're at this particular time with their health habits, with their current health habits. That's step 1. Here's some screening questions that we've used in our prevention plus wellness programs to give you some ideas. So what sports or physical activities did you play in the last year? Do you participate in any physical activity at least 30 minutes or 60 minutes, whatever you want to put there, most days a week? That's sort of a question about current physical activity. Number 3, do you usually eat a healthy breakfast? You could have a question about, do you usually eat fruits and vegetables? Do you usually eat 3 vegetables and 2 fruits a day? You can see how you can ask different kinds of questions about different related behaviors. Number 4, do you usually sleep 8 or more hours each night? 5, do you usually practice stress control most days? And of course, again, 6, have you ever drank any alcohol or used any vaped any nicotine or used any cigarettes or used any cannabis, etc. So these are some screening questions that we've used, good questions, and you could be in a screening survey, actual self-administered survey, just for their awareness, your audience's awareness, or you could ask these questions to your individual youth or groups of youth. So that's step 1. Step 2. And that was, again, asking questions, screening questions to increase reflection and awareness of health habits. Step 2, highlight the benefits of healthy behaviors, especially positive future images. So the benefits of engaging in each healthy behavior will increase positive expectations. Research shows that positive expectations increase motivation and likelihood of behavior change. So if young people see, for example, the benefits of regular physical activity, those can increase their expectations for what they would achieve, those benefits, those outcomes, and that could increase their motivation for change. Number 2, positive future images, as well as images of their peers engaging in specific health habits, are associated with one's personal identity. These hold particular motivational strength. So if you can have messages not just about what are some positive outcomes from eating breakfast every morning or eating healthier or getting 8 or more hours of sleep, but if you could say how that's going to affect who they are as people in the future, how they'll look and how they'll feel, that's really important and very powerful. So image communications, really critical. Research shows this, part of the theory of all prevention plus wellness programs. Last point, number 3, the assumption is that you can cue or trigger images that young people already have of themselves in the future unconsciously by using image terms like fit and active and successful, high energy, and using illustrations or positive models of themselves or of their peers, same age, look-alike, experiencing the benefits of the healthy behaviors. Remember, this is step 2 is about highlighting the benefits of specific healthy behaviors, not health behaviors in general, but the target behaviors you want to address in your model. Big 3, very important, I would suggest to you. What are some strategies? Well, let me give you one example before we do that. Here's a message of how you can identify or communicate positive images and other benefits of health-enhancing behaviors. In the quote below, young people who engage in regular physical activity, here we've got the target population, young people, You've got the target behavior, regular physical activity, and here you go. And underlines are the outcome, are the image outcomes. Energetic, feel energetic, look more active, fit, confident. And then there's one non-image outcome as well, sleep better. So benefits in terms of positive outcomes, expectations, as well, and particularly those related to their identity of themselves in the future. And there's a great image right there to the right of a young female who's getting some aerobic exercise even on a cold day. That's for my brother and my friends up in Minnesota. So what are some strategies, some specific strategies of how you address the benefits of healthy behaviors? You can present feedback or communication with youth, highlighting the benefits and future images of engaging in each healthy behavior they do or they don't currently do. So you can target those that they're engaged in or those that are not, or both. Show youth illustrations of peers experiencing positive outcomes from participating in healthy behaviors, images, videos, clips, whatever, to show, or live models, if you have them in your area, where you could show youth that there's some real positive outcomes from engaging in the health behaviors. 3, ask youth to think about and how they would look and feel in the future if they engaged in individual healthy behaviors. How would you feel if you started eating a more healthy, if you got 30 more minutes of sleep and more rested in the morning? How would you feel in the future if you started doing that over the next weeks and months and year? So again, getting young people to think in terms of a future self, really important, because it's very common for young people to not think in terms of the future, and you want to get them to do that. And then number 4, you could have youth compare themselves now and in a year from now, if they started getting more physical activity, for example, or ate more fruits and vegetables, etc., or practice relaxation technique. That's step 2, highlighting the benefits and positive images of healthy behaviors. Step 3, here's where we integrate. We're going to illustrate how specific substance use, or substance use in general, or both, harms healthy habits and benefits. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to start linking how specific substance use harms or interferes with achieving the health habits. This is key to addressing multiple health risks within a single program or campaign or communication with youth or your target population. You also want to illustrate how substance use sabotages, is a great term, or harms or prevents or interferes with you as a young person achieving the positive benefits and desired future images and the goals that you set for yourself. Goals to go to college, goals to be successful in, sports, whatever the case might be. So, and how substance use prevents you from achieving your desired health goals. So here's an example of this integrative message down below to the right. Marijuana use can reduce your energy level, and there's the mechanism, needed to participate in regular exercise and achieve your fitness goals of being in shape, looking good, feeling fit and active. So there you're linking again how, in this case, marijuana use can interfere with achieving your, physical activity, exercise, and the outcomes and the benefits of that. So that's the integrative piece. That's where you integrate the messages of substance use with the health promoting behavior messages. So some strategies: you can provide feedback or communication to youth, illustrating how specific substances, it could be cannabis, e-cigarettes, could be opioids, it could be alcohol, whatever the case may be, how these substances specifically can harm achieving health behavior goals and outcomes and positive identities. The more specific you give them, the more likely it's going to have an impact, and it's understandable and and it makes sense and is salient to them. Ask youth or whoever your target population is to identify how specific substances can interfere with achieving healthy behaviors and their benefits. So in other words, turn the table on them and get them to think about that. They'll have some good ideas in most cases. Number 3, have you list negative outcomes from using, let's say, e-cigarettes or using cannabis as a young person to their health and achieving their healthy habits. So not just health, but health habits. And here's some examples, physical activity. There's some great images there of young people that are ready to take off. And you can see they're happy and they're healthy. And now you want to mention benefits of physical activity and sports participation. Here's an example, great illustrations on the right, and some very brief but positive outcomes. Fun, you look fit and strong. Those are image terms. Feel good about yourself, lots of energy, more successful in school and sports and work. Now, how alcohol can harm physical activity and sports. Here's the linking messages. However, alcohol and active life, they don't mix, because alcohol and drugs, and then we sort of broaden the topic to alcohol and drugs, can negatively impact relationships, can harm how well you do in sports, how you feel about yourself. It can reduce your energy level and how well you do in work and school. Here's some examples from breakfast and nutrition. Mention the benefits of healthy eating and breakfast. Some of this here is a little bit more instructional, because they're talking about different kinds of healthy foods and how many servings, but also they're under 4 and 5, have a big effect on how you feel and give you the energy needed to perform. And how does, in this case, how does alcohol and cannabis interfere with healthy eating? Well, it interferes by preventing your body from, by increasing weight and sapping your energy and robbing your body of the essential nutrients needed to function at its best. Okay, that's step 3. That's an integrative step, integrate substance use messages with the wellness messages. Here's step 4. We recommend increasing for the prevention side here, especially to address other known risk factors for substance use. PPW, prevention post wellness programs, do that. So targeting other known risk factors will strengthen the prevention part of your holistic prevention program. So some of the things we know that are associated with and that drive or influence substance use include, down below to the right, perceived harmfulness of a substance, social norms, drug myths, resistance skills, environmental influences, and healthy alternatives. So here are some strategies. I have one example addressing each of those. So the more of these you can address in your intervention, whether it's brief or extended, I think the better. So for example, highlighting, and again, your messages already address, because you're integrating substance use prevention, substance use as harmful or counterproductive to healthy behaviors, you're already addressing number 1, perceived harmfulness. But you may want to also expand on it and talk about how substance use, specific substance use, cannabis, whatever the case may be, alcohol, how a specific substance use for young people can also lead to preventing them achieving other life goals or relationships with friends, etc. Whatever is salient to them, short-term related to them, not long-term, not cancer, not heart disease, not something that they can't relate to or see in the future, decades from now, but something that's salient and prevalent to them now in their lives. Number 2, you do want to correct social norms, misconceptions. That is that most of my friends are using substances and approve of substances, when in fact they're not. Number 3, address common myths. For example, common myths among cannabis use is that it's healthier than alcohol use. Number 4, give opportunities to practice saying no, or at least discuss resistance skills. How would they? Let them run that through their minds and imagine that. Number 5, illustrate environmental influence, how friends and family could help promote their health, and some members of their friends and family could actually increase their risks for unhealthy behaviors like alcohol or drug use. And then lastly, healthy alternatives to the extent you give your youth opportunities to engage in and highlight not just the health behaviors that are part of an integrated holistic prevention program, physical activity, breakfast, nutrition, sleep, stress control, but other things, any pro-social activity, art, music, community work, et cetera, good things for youth to engage in healthy, wholesome, pro-social things. Very good strategies to use in terms of healthy alternatives and getting them to think of things that they like to do that do not include substances. Step 5, this is the action step, absolutely critical to behavioral change and to prevention, and that is goal setting, but not just goal setting, multiple health behavior goal setting. So short-term goals better than long-term goals. Initiating and achieving behavior change starts with the goal setting, as well as developing self-regulation skills and self-efficacy. So you want these goals to be specific, and that is to say that they're measurable so that they know if they've achieved them or not, and for that matter, that they are achievable, that they're not too high a goal so that there's failure. So short-term goals, and again, substance use should be included in the goals, as well as promoting protective healthy behaviors. Multi-behavior goals we're talking about, because you're integrating and addressing holistically prevention. So here's some strategies right out of how we provide our goal setting and prevention plus wellness programs. Good idea for youth to focus on 7-day goals, immediate goals, short-term goals, something that they could set and track in a short-term period. Secondly, have youth sign and co-sign and date with you or other people that they know. That makes it a contract, that makes it a social agreement, that increases motivation for change. 3, having a calendar log or some mechanism for tracking your 7-day goals over the next 7 days, really good to get youth to start the practice of monitoring their health behaviors daily. 4, goals should at a minimum have a specific behavioral focus and quantity and frequency. You can even get more specific where they're going to be achieved, with whom they're going to be achieved, what possible barriers could there be. You can go more specific, but yeah, you want to at least have a specific behavioral focus, as well as a quantity and frequency. So 30, so I want to get 15 more minutes of physical activity Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's the frequency, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. 15 minutes is a quantity. Specific physical activity could be, I'm going to be walking the dog. That's 4, 5, congratulate youth, support them, encourage them. This is essential to behavior change and for changing their lives to goal setting. And it's a tool that they can use throughout their lives. I can't express how important goal setting is to young people for themselves now and in the future. And whatever additional instruction and support that you can provide them for goal setting, I would definitely do that. And in fact, related to that, number 6, even if you present a brief 1-session program like Prevention Plus Wellness programs, I would still follow up as much as you can. At least remind your youth during that week that they've set their goals, to keep monitoring their daily goals and to set a goal for the second week. And the more goals they set, the more weekly goals, the more they'll be able to alter that behavior over time. And that's really, really critical. So some strategies, we've already, I think, covered quite a few of them, but nonetheless, Remind youth regularly to monitor their daily goals and to reset their goals beyond that first week. So think long-term, think marathon instead of sprint, think climbing a mountain, ups and downs, but long-term success. Give youth an assignment or an opportunity, number 2, to discuss weekly goal success and failures, to learn from their goal setting and to set better and more achievable goals in the future. And then lastly, ask youth to set goals addressing a different health behavior once they've achieved their initial goal. So let's say they're interested in, and you want to encourage them to get at least 8 hours of sleep as an adolescent. Maybe they need more, but they're only getting 7 hours. So moving toward 8 is important. It could include, a half hour extra sleep during the school week. It could include setting a sleep time. It could include shutting off and putting away or locking up their electronic devices. So you see there's a lot of individual goals that go into the ultimate goal down the road of getting 8 hours of sleep. But once they've achieved that 8 hours of sleep and they're happy with that and they're successful and that's improved their lives and how they view themselves, then encourage them to look at other things: physical activity, nutrition, stress control, and maybe even beyond. But those big 3 behaviors really, really cool. And of course, within that, it's always avoiding substance use that's going to sabotage your goal setting and achievement. All right, final thoughts. Let's sum it all up over the course of these 3 webinars. Number 1, most American adolescents are experiencing multiple risks to their mental and physical and social well-being. They have multiple risks to their wellness. Substance use is just one of them. Physical inactivity, poor nutrition and not eating breakfast, not getting adequate sleep, and uncontrolled stress are the others that I'd like to mention for a whole well lifestyle. Number 2, holistic substance use is about integrating prevention and wellness promotion. And it's critical to improving and protecting the mental and physical health of youth and young adults. So that's the key: holistic substance use. Remember that model I showed you, that bidirectional integrated model: substance use prevention and healthy behavior promotion. Number 3, there's at least a few evidence-based prevention and wellness programs out there: Sport, InShape, Atlas, etc. Not many, but there are some. And so you could choose these and implement these right off the bat, along with your other evidence-based programs, to broaden your outcomes for your youth or your young adults. And you can also, on number 4, use this 6-step evidence-based prevention plus wellness model to create your own programs and campaigns and communication with your youth, individual youth, groups of youth, in a classroom, at home, whatever the case might be, that integrates substance use prevention with healthy lifestyle promotion. Okay, so I am going to now send you a poll. It's just 2 questions, I promise. I looked them over. We had a little problem with yesterday's, one of yesterday's questions had a little error in it, and so it caused some confusion, which I apologize for, but you'll get this in a minute. You have 2 questions, very simple, but let's go ahead and give you an opportunity to participate. The first question is, which is not an evidence-based program addressing substance use prevention and wellness? Which of these is not? Okay, and then secondly, which of the following is not included in the prevention plus wellness planning model? So you got 2 questions. It'll just take you a moment to answer those. So let me just give you a couple minutes so that we get everybody a chance to participate. Last 2 days, we've had at least 70%, 70, 75 or more, 70, 80% almost participation. So let's see if we can achieve that today. So I think today's summary and today's focus on what you can do as a prevention specialist to actively address wellness and have holistic prevention is probably the most important part. But we had to address, part 1 and 2 to really highlight the problem and the severity and the support for research and how critical it is to broaden our prevention field to include wellness. Wellness is essential to prevention if we really want to have a more holistic, a broader and deeper impact on the overall well-being of our audience and our clients. So we got 62% so far. Just give you another 30 minutes. We're up to 65%. We're getting there, almost there. If we just get up to 75%, that would be good. So just a few more people, if they can add, take these 2 questions, we really appreciate that. Just another 30 seconds or so. So we seem to be sort of locked in at 65%. Doesn't look like we're going much further at this point. So that's fine. Oh yeah, I spoke too soon. We're up to 69 already. So let me just wait till we get to 70. So if we can just have another 1 or 2 of you participate, we'll be over the top. The goal has been met. Our goal has been achieved. We can have a successful day because we've achieved 70% participation. Those of you who participated can feel very good about yourselves. Now, I know all of you can't participate because some of you are just listening on. You don't have the option to do that. But if you can participate, now's the time to do it for yourself and for your colleagues. And there we are, 71%. Fantastic. Thank you, guys. So let me share the results with you, I should say. And it'll just take a minute to get there. But here's the first question. Which is not an evidence-based program addressing substance use prevention and wellness? Sport is. Atlas is. So that's incorrect. Positive Action is. But most of you got it correct. 73% got it correct. Planet Health just addresses wellness or physical health. So most of you got that correct. Fantastic. Thank you for listening. So yes, Sport, In Shape, Atlas, Positive Health, all integrated prevention and wellness evidence-based programs. Number 2, which of the following is not included in the Prevention Plus Wellness Planning Model? Illustrate how substance use harms healthy habits. That is incorrect. That is step number 3. It's essential that you link substance use as harming healthy behaviors. That's how you get the holistic integrated messages. How about screening? That's incorrect because screening is the first step. We want to have youth reflect on their health behaviors. How about helping youth to make multi-health behavior goal plans? That's wrong. That's the action piece. Most of you are absolutely correct. The one item below that's not included in Prevention Plus Wellness Planning Model is D. 73% of you got this correct. You don't need to have a lengthy program to prevent substance use and to promote health. In fact, Prevention Plus Wellness programs are brief interventions. In fact, they're a single session. So you can use brief intervention format even to promote holistic prevention. Okay, so thank you so much for that. I'm going to see if anybody has any questions. No Q&A at this point. So we do have a few minutes. So I'm going to pause at this point. If you have a question, if you have a comment, if you want to say anything, and now's the time to do it. We have a couple of minutes. You got the Q&A, just click on that. In the interim, I just want to thank you all for joining us. God bless you all for all you do for youth and families in your region. If we can help you in any way, please let us know. PreventionPlusWellness.com is our website. info@preventionpluswellness.com is our email, and there's our phone number, 904-472-5022, if you need to reach out to us. Again, everybody who's registered will receive a certificate from 1 Hour CEU, and I'll send you a link to our website where you'll be able to access the recorded webinar of today. And by the way, if you missed either of the earlier sessions, you can find those on our website, preventionpluswellness.com, under resources and under blog. So under the resources and blog on preventionpluswellness.com, you'll find the recordings of our previous 2 webinars and also the slides. So Eileen says a big thank you for always a great and informative. Thank you so much for the kind words. Good presentation. Thank you, Angela. I appreciate that. Remember, I'm just presenting some information that's very simple. You're doing the hard work, making a difference, implementing these evidence-based programs and campaigns with your youth. And if we can help in any way, let us know. Enjoy your day. Take care of yourselves. And have a good Thursday and Friday and weekend. And hopefully I'll see you again soon. Bye, everyone.